Good afternoon. I'm recording the second video in a single day right now, guys, and it's your boy Max hosting the Black Jersey here on YouTube. I'm going to be looking at who I would personally pick for the All Blacks this year in 2021. I'm later going to do a video on who I think Ian Foster and John Plumtree are going to pick, but I think it would be fun to just put my opinion out there and kind of share a few thoughts with you guys on who I would pick. For hookers, I'll start off. I'd pick Samisoni Takiaho to make his debut. I think the guy's really done a lot of work in his line-out throwing. He's very physical and he's been pretty much the heartbeat of that Chiefs side that's had a massive resurgence. And this guy's got so much raw power, and he's even starting to out-Almua Asafo Almua, who I would also pick. He's looked very sharp this season, and I think he's undoubtedly better than Dane Coles right now, and I think he truly is the Hurricanes' premier hooker. And obviously Cody Taylor, who is my third hooker, would be player of the season for Super Rugby Aotearoa, and I think Taylor is definitely going to be a regular starter still, because he's been on absolute fire, guys. Then for my props, there are quite a few changes. Alex Hodgman has not played since his suspension was ended, and Alex Hodgman, he has disappointed me this season. He missed a few games with injury, then had a couple strong games, but then had a suspension for a dangerous shot on Sevu Reece, I think it was. We've then got Ethan de Groot coming in as kind of his replacement. That's why I'm wearing a Highlanders jersey, because I'm picking a couple bolters from the Highlanders. I think Ethan de Groot's a very strong young guy, and he's worked quite hard to get a bit of fat down from his body. I'll then pick Big Carl as my regular starter because Joe Moody is injured, so you've got to shift someone else into the number 1 jersey. And because I have not picked Hodgman for the squad, I would like to see George Bower finally make his All Blacks debut. He got called into the squad last year, and you know, we're playing Tonga and we're playing Fiji for the mid-year tests, so what better time to give a new guy his debut? For the Tighthead Props, Tyrell Lomax has definitely disappointed me, and so I'd like to see Siati Tokalahi get a go. I don't think he will, but the guy's a very, very good player, and he's somewhat of a late bloomer, but I wouldn't mind giving him a cap just so other nations can't give him a cap. I think the guy's just absolutely world class and perhaps deserves more respect from the rugby public. And obviously, to finish off the props, I have Nepo Laulala and Ofata Ungafasi, who have been just beautiful in tandem for the Blues, and that scrum definitely looked a lot sharper against the Rebels than it did in Super Rugby Aotearoa. For the locks, I have Sam Whitelock and Patrick Tuipulotu, but because Tuipulotu still hasn't come back from his injury, I'm not going to give the captaincy to either of these locks. I've then got Scott Barrett, of course, who's just been wonderful for the Crusaders this season. He's looked a lot sharper than last year. Tupuva'ai, I think, has just made so many gains in his professional career. He's just been outstanding. He's got good hands. He's a great jumper in the lineouts. He's powerful. He's aggressive. He's got mongrel. And joining him in the 5th lock spot is Naitoa Akoi, who is his locking partner at the Chiefs. I did believe Akoi was going to get a cap at some stage last year, but injury kind of denied him from his chances at a call-up. I don't think Paddy Parkinson's going to get a call-up. I think his body's too brittle. I think he's possibly even a bit not there mentally to be an All Black. Then for the loose forwards, I want to have Ardie Savea coming back, but I wouldn't give the captaincy to Ardie Savea either, just because he actually has to, recover from that injury first. It's pretty important to do that, eh? I'd then start Dalton Papali'i at 7, and I'd finally give Lachlan Boshier his first All Blacks cap. The guy's been really deserving of one since last year, and so since Tom Christie's out, Duplessis Karifi's discipline's been pretty poor this season, and since Sam Cane is sadly injured, I'd love to see Boshier get his first cap at last. I've then got Hoskins, Satutu, and Kiriwani to cover number 8. I've then got Shannon Frizzell, although I may change my opinion on that depending on what happens with his off-field incidents. Then I'd like to have Hugh Renton come into the squad. He's had so many setbacks throughout his career, but he's actually got some pretty good stats for a guy that hasn't played as many minutes as the likes of, Savea, Ethan Blackadder, Fetu Douglas, all those kinds of established players. Cullen Grace has disappointed me as well, and so that kind of opens the gate up for Hugh Renton, who I named in my Super Rugby Aotearoa team of the season. The halfbacks are definitely going to be Aaron Smith, Brad Weber, and Mitchell Drummond. TJ Perenara is in a similar situation to Brodie Retallick. Both of them have been playing in Japan at a level that's far lesser than Super Rugby, so I'd like to give those guys some time to get back into New Zealand and refresh themselves, and give some other players a go. Then for the first fives, it's the same thing with Beauden Barrett than it is to TJ Perenara and Brodie Retallick. So obviously the halves are going to look very, very different. Richie Mo'unga, I think, deserves to keep starting. And with first five, we need a third choice now. I don't care if this third choice player isn't going to the World Cup. So if I'm picking an All Black squad today, Josh Ioane's second choice and Mitch Hunt is the third choice. Ioane's perhaps a lot more consistent than Hunt. That's why I'd say Hunt's going to be the third choice. And first five is definitely a weak spot for New Zealand rugby right now. With Teddy Black's disappointed me. Harry Plummer was starting to look good, but he started to disappoint me again. Bryn Gatland perhaps just isn't at that next level. He's a good Super Rugby player, but possibly the All Blacks is a step too far for Bryn Gatland. For the midfielders, Ngani Laumapi's gone, so there's no point giving him any more games for the All Blacks. So I've got Anton Leonard-Brown, I've got David Havili. Rieko Ioane still makes the team for me, but he does have to watch out for the resurgence of Braden Ennor, who I think is still possibly good enough to get into the squad. And Peter Umaga-Jensen, obviously for me, is a standout player for the Hurricanes. He's been one of the few highlights about their season so far, and so he's got to get in for me. Then with the outside backs, there's a couple of guys who have played sevens before, who have turned down their chances to go to the Olympics. Caleb Clark's heading to the Olympics, so I think that's going to open the door for Salesi Rayasi, who is uncapped. Rayasi possibly doesn't have the best attitude, but he's very, very fast. He's very agile. He's got a nice kicking game. He's got some power. He offloads a bit too much for my liking, but the guy's good enough, so you might as well get him in there and see what we can help out in terms of his game. And it will be awesome to see if we can develop Salesi Rayasi to be a bit more calm on the field and see if he can perhaps become another world-class winger. Jonah Nareki is in a similar situation, and he's got a very good kicking game for a winger that is normally known for his agility and his pace, and he's not really the exact typical Fijian flyer. There's a lot more to Nareki than that. And obviously to finish off the outside backs, I'm backing D-Mac, I'm backing Geordie Barrett, I'm backing Severis and Will Jordan. Nareki and Rayasi have been too good for George Bridge to get in, and Will Jordan's not showing any signs of a second-year syndrome. But Will Jordan may just have to settle for a spot on the wing because Barrett and McKenzie have got their claws firmly into that number 15 jersey right now, and I'd hate to be the person to pick between which of them starts on the jersey, so I think I'll possibly cover that in a future video. So to recap all of that, I have selected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 uncapped players to be in a 38-man All Black squad for the mid-year tests in 2021. I'm very excited to play Tonga and Fiji, and soon I will also do a video on who I think Fozzie is going to pick for the squad. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.